Another key agency head is now stepping down way before their term is up. FAA Administrator Mike Whitaker announced today he will resign on January 20th at the start of President-elect Trump's term. Whitaker is just 13 months into a 5-year term. In a letter to the FAA, he wrote, "As I prepare to hand over the reins, our mission continues and its importance has never been greater." Donald Trump will now have the chance to choose who will replace Whitaker, who had bipartisan support, I should add, and a unanimous confirmation vote. Today, the resignation of FBI Director Chris Wray is putting new focus on Kash Patel, a controversial Trump choice, who had been overshadowed by all the attention given another embattled pick, Pete Hegseth. But many Republicans are supporting the change at the Bureau.
I think that's a good move, smart move.
Does it worry you at all, though? They serve 10-year terms for a reason.
It doesn't worry me. Look, something new is happening. It's a new day in America. We need a change at the FBI. I was on Judiciary, as you know. We used to investigate all the what I regard to be abuses there, and it's time for new leadership. And I think that was a smart move.
So do Democrats now have an opening to launch a stronger fight against Patel. Joining us now, Democratic Senator of Rhode Island, Sheldon Whitehouse, a member of the Judiciary Committee. It's good to see you again, Senator. Look, Donald Trump said just today, I think, Patel is the most qualified nominee to lead the FBI in the agency's history. So I wonder what you're hearing from Republicans who will ultimately determine his fate. And do you think he can be confirmed?
First, just a word about the ingratitude to Director Wray, who covered up the bogus FBI investigation into Justice Kavanaugh and helped usher him onto the court, which was a huge Republican priority. And now, what does he get for that but being shown the door? I think the spotlight properly belongs on Kash Patel. Trump has a history of falsehood and exaggeration. So his comparison of Patel to other FBI chiefs obviously needs to be taken with a huge grain of salt. Two things you worry about with FBI chiefs. One is that they'll abuse the powers of the FBI to quell dissent. In fact, even perhaps to go after media outlets that challenge the administration. Well, Patel has actually said he will do that. This is not a hypothetical. The other is that he'll come with an enemies list and not allow the process of justice to be deployed fairly, but to use it to pick on people who have annoyed the Trump administration or the Trump family. Again, we don't have to surmise about this. He has published the enemies list that he plans to attack. So he's disqualified on some very, very important basic levels that have to do with the morality and the integrity of the prosecutive function in the United States.
So what is your level of confidence that he will or will not first of all, face a confirmation hearing or get through a confirmation hearing?
Yeah, it's a little hard to tell. I mean, if you look at what has happened to Senator Ernst, once it became apparent to the flying monkeys of the MAGA far right that she was an obstacle to Hegseth's confirmation, she was really brutalized. Ads went up. Big money from the billionaires around Trump went in against her. The internet lit up, particularly the really savage, what I call flying monkeys, the Wizard of Oz analogy of the far right. So the Trump administration is doing its very best to cow Republican senators into obedience and using the very powerful and often even thuggish tools at their disposal to do so. And that's the arena in which this is playing out. And it's hard to predict whether the thuggery wins or whether this guy's evident disqualifications prove to be disabling.
So I don't want to overstate what you're suggesting, but are you suggesting that both Kash Patel and Pete Hegseth could indeed be confirmed?
I would not rule that out at this point. It is certainly the intent of the Trump administration to deploy its very considerable powers of brutality, influence, and persuasion to try to make that happen. And again, this is a twofer for them. This is not just about getting these two nominees through, these two very troubled and inappropriate nominees through. This is also about conditioning the Republican Senate to be an obedient body. And once they've broken them on this, it becomes easier and easier to force other unpalatable things through the Republican senators.
I only have a minute left, Senator, but I do want to ask you about this new interview with Time magazine where the president-elect now says he won't just pardon some January 6 convicts on day one, but he said in the first hour, although he did say they would be nonviolent offenders. He also said he will begin the process of deportation. Is there anything to prevent him from doing either of those things in hour one?
The pardon power is highly exclusive to the executive branch with very little role for any of the other of our separated powers. So yes, he could do that right away. And we will try to make sure that both as to deportation and as to pardons, that he's being held accountable for improper use of those powers. Because I don't think that's why a lot of people voted for him, was to let, particularly if he goes to violent criminals for pardons and nonviolent criminals to deport.
Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, always good to see you, and we appreciate your time on the program. Thank you.